Welcome to another episode of Squared Circle with Pookie the Wolf and
Kibbles.
Okay. Kibbles.
That's my name.
Yeah, no, I know. I turned my voice off, so I'm gonna turn this off real quick. So
You're gonna turn your voice off?
I turned my voice off.
I don't know why that came out like that.
You mean for you or me?
For me.
Oh, okay. So today we don't have any jokes, right? You don't have anything planned.
I don't know.
Is a guy gonna pop out of like the closet behind me and just scare me or something?
Although that would be difficult because the closet doesn't have a door.
He could be sitting there. He could be completely still. I already looked in there earlier, and no one was in there.
Wait, you said he could be standing completely still. Are
Yeah.
you like a T-Rex? You only see
I'm
movement?
like a baby. I have object permanency where I can't see anything.
Gotcha. And now that I think about it, how do we... That's such a tangent. How do we know that that's what dinosaurs were like? That's what the T-Rex was like? Or is it just some shit that they made up for Jurassic Park?
Oh, it's because it's in our textbooks that babies are just like dinosaurs.
Oh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a podcast all about wrestling. In this corner, an author and a black belt, Kibbles.
Kibbles? What kind of name is that?
Pookie the Wolf is the best.
I forgot my copies. And in this corner, Pookie the Wolf.
Pookie the Wolf is one of the best.
Welcome to the Kibbles and Pookie's Squared Circle.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Squared Circle. We are here. We have came back from AEW Dynamite Rampage and
Dynamite.
Dark. Yeah.
We had elevation.
We had elevation?
Yes.
Oh, I was elevated.
You were elevated.
My dick was so hard.
Because of Willow?
Yeah, well, just in general, excitement. It wasn't even
Okay.
like a sexual erection.
I got you.
By the way, sexual erection, perfect name for a band.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was amazing. I don't know about you, Kibbles. I was just like, it wasn't like it was like overwhelming. It was just like the fact of like, wow, I'm here. And like going back and like watching the TV broadcast, I'm like, we were there. That's crazy. Like the fact that like even in the stadium, it looks bigger than when we were there. It's just like, oh, this is just a dinky college basketball area.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks bigger on TV. I mean, they sit not quite sure how many, but I want to say, they probably if they were to like sell out, they probably would be putting about 9,000, 10,000 people in the arena. Which I think is a smart move of them running, some of the I guess technically you'd use the term like smaller arenas than WWE. Like WWE would run the Wells Fargo Center, which probably fits about 20,000. I think AEW is doing just doing really smart business, going to in some areas and arenas, going to smaller spots.
I think it's actually ironic that just hit me now that AEW is not the best, but it is enjoyable. I think that is, as far as their sales and their content, it's exactly the reason. It's the same reasons why I like AEW over WWE, where it's just like, I don't care about who is the best as far as Roman Reigns or whoever the fuck. I'm enjoying the matches. It's not about who's doing what. It's more of like, I'm enjoying what they're offering instead of being like, this guy is the alpha and he'll beat anybody and blah 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 and titles and all that stuff. It's just like, that's the same with their like, people are like, oh well, AEW isn't selling as much or AEW can't sell at the big arenas. Like, yes, but I'm still enjoying it regardless. It doesn't matter if it's still staying in business. I'll take it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's
quality over quantity, right?
Correct.
Bam.
I mean, there's very interesting things that come and go with that. Like people will say like, well, they're not able to sell out these huge arenas or whatever, and I would venture to say that they never planned to start at those huge arenas. It was really like Tony Khan made a very money conscious effort to say, when we start, we're gonna be going to certain arena sizes, because we're a new promotion. That doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna sell out all these places right away. The thing is, you need to build up to that. So, like, yes, you have to.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because they say that, and I'm like, okay, yes, but WWE also has what, like 40 years
Yeah.
ahead of
Well,
AEW, if anything, and then for them to, and then like I almost want to backfire and say, like, okay, like you can say that, but like don't tell me that WWE is always selling out their arenas either, because they're not.
yeah, seat
and
fillers.
and aside from the fact that the actual physical, and another perfect example is WrestleMania this year. Like, yeah, they came on TV and they were like, yeah, 70 some thousand people here night one, 70 some thousand people here night two. Like, you can go on and look up you can get the information. People have the information of the actual number of tickets that were sold, and WWE, like, the actual number of tickets were sold, was between 55 and 60,000.
Ooh,
Like,
that's not 75 at all.
WWE is like boasting these numbers that don't that aren't actually
Yeah.
uh,
Well,
true.
also I think a lot with the mentality of AEW, where Tony Khan is not acting like, for example, not acting like Hogan in TNA or like Eric Bischoff in WCW. It's not trying to compete. It's, if anything, it's the wrestlers who are more independent than the WWE guys who are going, we're making references to you guys. Like Jericho is a perfect example of taking a premise that people understand to make fun of WWE for, and being like, I'm going to do that as a joke because everyone understands that this is wrestling and not pro entertainment or sports entertainment or whatever.
Right.
But Tony Khan doesn't have that kind of concept where, like, Eric Bischoff was trying to compete with someone every damn day. And I think partly, well, if we ever get to that point with Tony Khan where they are competing with each other and making the same amount of things, which isn't necessarily needs to happen, but it's effective. Like when we see how Tony Khan reacts during them doing the same amount of, like, sales or whatever, we'll see how Tony Khan can react to that. But right now he's doing a good job of just minding his own business and doing his own thing.
Yeah, there's like strange things at play with that, because like do I want AEW to be as big as WWE or be making that much money? Like, yes, because that's really good for the company, and it's also really good for competition. Because if they're making that much money and making that much waves, then WWE then has to see them as a threat and has to acknowledge them as competition openly.
Them. Yeah, acknowledge them.
And they have to. I see what you're doing there.
Sorry, go ahead.
But then at the same time, there's other things where, like, does AEW continue to see success but never quite reach the same level of success as WWE without compromising what it actually
I was
is?
going to say,
Because it's built to be a pro wrestling product.
Exactly.
And unless they start changing what they are to cater to a more general audience,
I was just about to say, like, the scales of
correct.
Who will change out of the company? Will WWE change for the better, or will AEW change to be more like WWE?
Right. So obviously, I wish them the success because of the things that come with the success, including the wrestlers making more money and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I don't know if I want them to achieve the same level of success as WWE.
Yeah. I think pretty much the concept that I like is that this train of AEW is rolling through regardless of anybody else, and I think that's a good thing where people out there like the product and are enjoying it, and that's what I really like about it. It's the concept of something can actually be changed. There can be some kind of change with how the company is wrestling has been portrayed, and I think like you said, the 40 years of WWE doing what they're doing, it also, there's so much stigma that I think WWE tries really hard to change, like the try to make WWE a pro wrestling or like an actual sports thing, and being on Fox and doing all this stuff, or like trying not to say wrestling. They're trying really hard to change it, and it's just like, that's not what you should do. You should lean into it and be like, this is who we are, this is what we do. It's pro wrestling. It's entertainment for people. People enjoy it regardless. It doesn't have to be this big, like, oh, it's a real sport. Doesn't matter. It's still enjoyable to watch. Like, we have the argument all the time. Oh, well, it's fake, right? Yes, we know it's fake. It's the concept of we still enjoy the people. It's just a male soap opera. I believe Goldberg once called it male soap opera, and that's what it is. I think, regardless, who cares? Just like it for what it is. Don't worry about who sees it as whatever. If you like it and people are enjoying it, just enjoy it.
Right, and the moves that Vince McMahon has made for the WWE to become what it is based on profits and profit margin.
Well, yeah, and also
call it-
mainstream stuff. Like
Correct. You call it sports entertainment and not WWE because a more casual person, or wrestling, because a more casual person will not denounce sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas as soon as you say wrestling, it comes with a connotation.
I just feel
That's
like,
what it is. He's trying to get rid of the connotation of that. He's also trying to get, at the time, he's getting his wrestlers into TV shows and movies and all these things, and so it's purely a money
yeah, definitely
driving factor behind that.
I think a lot of it too is the fact that, like, saying sports entertainment, it sounds like you're trying to, like, almost fool yourself. It's like, for the, like, not to make it political, but the issue with Trump and having an audio recording of him saying, grab someone by the crotch is I guess the easiest way to say it. That's like the concept of, like, oh, boys will be boys. It's like, you can't really just say it as if you're, like, trying to convince yourself, like, oh, it's okay. It's if I say it a different way, it's okay. It's like, yeah, it's still kind of there though. You good?
Yeah.
You kind of look like you've seen a ghost.
Oh no, I was reading. Well, I was looking at the audio levels for a second,
okay.
and then just to make sure we were still good. I have my phone hooked to my computer, so I got a text message and I could read it on my.
But anyway, yeah. So essentially, what I'm saying is that it's a weird kind of way to say it, but that the boys will be boys thing with Trump, and I know, like, I'm not trying to make it this political thing, but that's the best example I can think of, where you're, like, trying to fool yourself into believing it's all right, it's okay to be calling it that. It's just like, yeah, but also, like, I don't know. It's to kind of fool yourself into thinking that this is okay.
Yeah.
I guess. But
I got you.
But anyway, I want you to just. I know it's Sunday. Well, I guess this will go out Wednesday.
Sunday.
But I want you to just close your eyes.
Okay.
But okay, you don't have to actually close your eyes.
We're
a podcast. We're a podcast. You think they're gonna be able
said
to
to close
see?
my eyes, asshole.
Okay, well, close your eyes, and then you're still doing it.
You told me to.
I just said it does not matter what you do. It's just a thing I'm saying. I want people to imagine you closing your eyes, but you don't have to close your eyes.
Okay.
I feel like you're gonna do it again.
I can do it again.
All right, close your eyes.
Okay.
I want you to imagine that you're there again.
Mm-hmm.
What were the things that you loved about being there at AEW? Because that's what we were talking about, by the way. We got on a rant about where WWE and AEW are.
We did.
But what did you enjoy the most about all of that?
It's hard to pick one thing that I enjoyed the most.
I never said one thing. You don't have to say one thing.
You just said one thing.
You don't have to pick one thing. I said, what did you love the most being there?
I loved being there and being able to interact with the audience and the people and being a part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always been the most fun part of going to any wrestling event, is being a part of the show. I'm not super into the whole hijacking the show thing that happens sometimes. That doesn't happen quite as much anymore, and it never really happens in AEW. But anyway,
But I think that's the thing with all live events, where like you'll watch something or like watch a band perform, but then like being there is so much more amazing
yeah,
than watching them.
and it's the interaction, right? Like
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the fun part, or like part of the experience of going to see a band live is singing the songs with the band.
Exactly.
Especially when bands are very into
Interaction
interaction with
Yeah.
the fans, where like the singer will literally stop
That's
singing
how
and let
Foo
you.
Fighters were when I
Yeah.
went to see them. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like a really cool example is are you a fan of Day to Remember?
No.
So they have a song where the beginning of the song in the recording is like an audience. I mean it's people in an actual recording booth.
But
But
it's
you
like a group of people.
right, and so then the audience does it for the beginning of the song, and at concerts, and you make the noise that the guitar does. So that sounded ridiculous.
No, but it's good. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's
because like who cares when you're there? You know
yeah,
what I mean?
so like the guitar goes da 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 da, like
So
that's
people.
so then you
people
do
will
that,
with it,
yeah, as like the intro to the song, which
well,
is
it's like
cool.
it's like Judas coming back to
Judas,
AEW. It's
yes.
like Judas. Like I don't know this. By the way, you were on TV for a good while for that.
I was on TV for a couple seconds
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I was
yeah.
singing.
We were both on TV. I forgot to mention that. But if you haven't watched it yet,
We were on TV within the first 30 seconds
Yeah.
of the show going on the air.
Yeah. Kibbles has put up a video. I haven't finished mine yet, but you can check out all the stuff once I probably have mine up by this time this goes up.
Yeah, they I was like, oh, there's us,
Oh, there we are. Yeah, I
And-
didn't think it was that quickly.
and I
It would
knew it.
happen.
I knew it happened. Because the camera guy was right
the
in our
first
face.
time. You're talking about the first time.
First time, because the camera guy was right in our face, and B, my phone then I then got like 5 or 6 text messages almost immediately after.
Yeah. It was the concept of like as soon as it happened or as soon as like the show started, the fireworks go up, and just so if you're watching it now, like if you watch the fireworks go up, literally it was like we were sitting there at the barricade, and just imagine a guy with a camera just kind of fucking running full force at you, like oh shit, and then all of a sudden we're like oh we're on TV, cool.
Yeah, it's right after Punk's music hits.
Yeah.
and we're chanting CM Punk. They cut right over to us.
Yeah.
Like
Literally like the first
even
group of
before the
people.
chorus of
Yeah.
the song starts.
We were just
Or
shouting
I'm
CM
sorry,
Punk,
the
right?
verse. Yeah.
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 Ooh, what a time.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, go ahead. We
Nah.
got on this rant again.
Yeah, well, and then the second time was
Judas,
me
right?
because I was singing
Yeah.
singing Judas.
Which I was off to the side going,
Yeah.
what have I become?
There's part of me that I was like, "Oh, that's cool that I was there. I wish he had like picked me for like a better part of the song."
Yeah.
But I guess like maybe that was because I was actually singing whatever
Yeah,
that part of
I
the
feel
song
like
was.
you would have known more of it than I would, so I was like, I'll wait for the chorus, and
Yeah.
hopefully they'll come back to
I do
us.
fucking love that song though. Yeah. Their new song is fucking fire too.
The new Fozzy song?
Yeah. I Still Burn is fucking awesome.
Is he still coming? I didn't even know he's still making music.
Yeah, the new so their next album is their 8th album. It comes out on Friday, I think.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
So yeah, we're on TV.
We were on TV.
Dude,
There's a couple other spots. I didn't. I think I only put one of them. There's a couple other like random like quick hit spots where like someone
yeah.
dives out of the ring, whatever. You can see us for like a brief second.
Yeah, I can
but-
see the back of my head for some parts.
Yeah, so I just I didn't bother putting those ones into the video.
Yeah. Imagine just watching AEW and actually watching, like, waiting for like you to show up. Oh, okay, they're right there, and just writing it down.
Yeah, I went to the 2 parts that I knew happened because people texted me.
Yeah.
So like I knew that they saw us in the intro, and I knew that they saw us for Judas. So I went to those 2, and then I kind of skipped around to a couple parts. Specifically, I skipped around to parts in the match when they were outside the ring on our side.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just kind of skipped the rest of it.
But yeah, fun night.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. The FTR stuff was
Yeah, well, I was
was
gonna say
good.
best match as far as your opinion.
yes, absolutely.
I was asking, what was the best match? But yes, I would say
FTR was the best match.
I would say the same thing. It was probably the best match.
Yeah, FTR was the best match.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw or if I texted you, but Punk was on commentary for that match, and then they showed the graphic, and he did the promo afterwards.
Yeah.
They did that because Hangman was supposed to be there, and they were gonna do a promo. Those two in the ring were gonna do a promo, and then have the match officially be announced. But Hangman tested positive for COVID, so he wasn't there. So then they put Punk on commentary and announced it after the FTR match.
Yeah, which is fine, but would have wanted something with them too. We still got CM Punk. I think I would have been more upset if Adam Page was the one who was there. As I know it sounds rude, but if I couldn't see CM Punk like live, I would have been more upset. I'd be like, oh, well, at least I saw CM Punk. He got to do a whole promo thing.
Yeah. Like if it was reversed and Punk had COVID and Page was there.
Yeah. Who would take care of Larry?
I don't know.
He'd be too sick to take care of him. Anyway, yeah. So that was, and I mean, you know me, how like you don't really watch Dark, but like all of it, I fucking just I loved, and that's what I'm kind of waiting for because I'm gonna do the stuff I recorded for Dark as well.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm waiting for Monday?
Yes.
For it to come out.
Yes.
And then I'll work on the rest of that. But, yeah, it was just everything. I loved everything about it. I would say my favorite Dark match was probably the tag team, the Nyla Rose and Emi Sakura versus Anna Jay and Chris Statlander. And then as far as Dynamite, FTR versus each other. I just realized I said that and was like, wait a minute. And then I would say, I don't know, Rampage was my favorite segment. Wasn't a match, which was the Danhausen Hook thing.
Yeah.
But I would say my favorite match would probably be Keith Lee. Keith Lee or the Samoa Joe versus Trent.
Mine would be Swerve and
I didn't see all of that. I did watch it recently. The beginning part I missed, but that the one part, there was a part where and he's done it before to people where like Swerve had just kicked someone in the back of the head, and he did it to Darby Allin, and you're like, ooh, and I was like, I was down there for that because I was getting so people know. In between a Dynamite and Rampage, I went to go get food. That was a fucking pain in the ass. But I came back right in like the middle of that first match on Rampage, and there's a part where Swerve Strickland just kicks Darby Allin in the back of the head, like with the front of his foot, or for like the, I don't know what you'd call that, the front part of your foot, like that curve that goes down to the toes. You know what I mean?
Instep is what that's called.
The instep?
Yes.
Is that your karate stuff?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But yeah. That was I didn't see all that match, but I mean what match wasn't good, besides some dark matches. Or the thing I really remember was in my head was going back and rewatching the Keith Lee versus the Gun. And he set it up so that way when he jumped over, he was supposed to catch him for the Spirit Bomb. But then
and he
Colton
missed.
just jumped right over him.
Yeah,
that was the part where I was like, oh, okay, that was not supposed to happen. But then he ended up doing the, what did he call that?
a professional.
What did he call that finisher in WWE? It's like something. I want to say Big Bang Theory, but I don't know if it's called that. It's called that in the game because I just started playing the newest one. But every time he does it now, Excalibur says he pancaked him. And I go, I know the Spirit Bomb, but I don't know what the pancake move was called back in WWE. I can go look into the game and
I'm trying to think of what it was called for.
It was something Dragon Ball Z-esque, because that's what the Spirit Bomb is supposed to be referenced off of.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they called it. I don't remember.
One big nerd.
He's a Bearcat, you know.
Yeah. Did you see the Sammy Guevara thing on the vlog where he's talking to Ricky Starks?
No.
He scratched him on the neck. And he goes, yeah, that's where you get the Bearcat. Because Alan Angel says, oh, that's where I call him a Bearcat. He goes, yeah, I see what you did there.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was on
That's
one
some
of
funny
those.
shit right there.
I think it was around the time they had the
We definitely almost saw Sammy Guevara die.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Another part that I think wouldn't be shown. I don't know if you got it, but the part when Cash Wheeler was outside and goes looks down at Dax and goes, "Fuck," and then we're like, "Hey man, come on." You remember when
Yeah.
I recorded that and got it perfectly. We're just like, "Fuck," and we're like, "Hey man, no cursing." And we just as he's getting him back in the ring.
Yeah. I mean, that could have even happened during a commercial break.
Yeah.
So
that's
then
true.
you wouldn't have had the audio. Because so I watch on I don't have cable, so I watch on the app. So it's
which app?
The TBS app.
Oh, I watched on Hulu because that's what I have as TV now.
Do they put it on Hulu?
Next day. Well, not next day.
Wait, regular
So
Hulu account, or you have to have the Hulu with live TV?
I have live, but you can watch it any time once after it comes out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's on Hulu.
Okay.
Both shows.
I'll have to take a look.
Even Battle of the Belts.
Okay, I'll have to take a look because there are some things that go up the next day, but only if you have the Hulu with TV.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Hulu Live TV.
You
See, I don't have Hulu Live TV.
You might be right. You might get on there and be like, "Oh, Darren fucking lied to me, you piece of shit."
Yeah, piece of shit.
Which I didn't know. So I'll tell you now, if I'm wrong, then I'm sorry. Don't call me a piece of shit to yourself.
Okay, I won't do that.
Okay, but yeah. Anyway, fantastic time, I would say. Fantastic.
Well, wait. I also don't want to watch it the next day. I want to. Watch
just
it when
check
it's on.
Just check it out. But
yes,
anyway.
watch with live TV.
Yeah. Okay. Then
Which
I just
don't
got
have.
lucky.
So, the fuck. Oh, right. So I remember what I was saying. So I watched it on the app. So the app doesn't have, the commercial breaks when they do the picture-in-picture. I don't know if the Hulu with live TV does.
No, it does do the picture-in-picture.
Okay. So I'm watching it, and then it just skips to when it comes back on TV. It's very strange sometimes.
Yeah, that's weird.
When I was searching through, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that part of the show or that part of whatever was during the commercial break. It was pretty funny.
I'd imagine that they still commentate while they're doing that though, because it's there's some YouTube clips where they come
probably
right back
do.
from the commercial.
They probably do.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows these days, huh? Kids and their television and
With their television.
Dan Fogelberg and their
Dan Fogelberg.
Yeah, Dan Fogelberg. Do you not Dan? Oh, okay, you're doing Danhausen.
Danhausen. Hookhausen.
Hookhausen, I'm surprised is not a shirt.
So here's my theory. Hookhausen's not a shirt yet.
It's not official.
Yes. They're
for sure on Friday I thought it was gonna come up. I was gonna check after it was over and go, oh, there it is.
So you had said that, and I was like, that makes sense. And then also in my head, I was like, but I could see them waiting 1 or 2 more weeks. So people are like, oh, that was kind of weird. And then they kind of team up next week, and then they start having the Hookhausen shirts.
I assume they're gonna do Hook versus Tony Nese next, and then
Danhausen will help them.
Yeah.
And then they'll start having Hookhausen shirts.
Yeah, because they said that. I think what is it next week? Either next week on Dynamite or next week on Rampage, they're gonna do. It just says Hook's gonna fight somebody.
Yeah. So I think the shirt is coming, and I think it's on purpose that it's not immediately right away.
I think that's really clever too, to be now that we're seeing it, going, oh, why would these people ever team up? Well, what if they have a common enemy to team up for?
Because and then they become the odd couple.
Yeah, because it's you can't just do, oh, these guys are friends now. You have to find a reason, especially 2 different demeanors between the 2 of them. You have to find some kind of thing.
And we're meeting him in 2 weeks.
Yes, we are. I can't wait to meet Hook again.
What?
Oh, you mean Danhausen?
I meant Danhausen.
Sorry, we've had him here anyway. So
yeah,
and I will deny it. I will tell you that to the day.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you follow Pandora's Box on Facebook.
Not on Facebook, no.
But they posted up that they're doing. I think it's in July. I'd have to check the date. They're having. They're doing a meet and greet with Matt Cardona, Smart Mark Sterling, and Brian Myers. And then they're doing a meet and greet, and then they're recording an episode of the podcast at the store.
Is
Kurt Hawkins.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the other one I'm I don't know who Brian Myers is, but now, yeah.
Yeah, so
because I know they're part of that group, right? The podcast thing.
Yeah. So those 3 are coming, they're doing a meet and greet signing, and then they're recording an episode of the podcast.
That's awesome.
There. So you can be there live while they record an episode of the podcast. And I remember seeing it, and they were like, there were so many tickets for the meet and greet, and then there was only, there was a less portion of tickets for the podcast. Like, they were like, we can only seat, however many, 50 people or whatever for the live podcast.
So many sweaty, fat nerds.
Yes.
I
thought about going, and then I was kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, I like Matt Cardona, but I don't think I'd be something I'd.
I would like meeting them. I don't know that I would do the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm selective with their podcast. I'll listen, I'll watch on YouTube when they do like the top.
Well, you also
whatever
gotta think about it. They might have people come up and talk to them for a little bit.
That's true as well.
But
yeah, I saw that. I saw Kurt Angle had to reschedule his date.
For the Pandora.
Yeah.
Something that we found out, I don't know if it's official yet. I think this might be breaking news. Smart Mark Sterling is a baddie.
Yes. He is a baddie.
We asked him, well, not only us asked him, but someone from the audience told him that he was. And I remember yelling, "Hell yeah, you are!" And
he agreed.
I love the fact that he was telling in the 6-man tag for Rampage. He was telling all the ladies they're doing a great job, and then I went, and then this is the thing where I said it, not expecting him to react to it, because remember I came back from getting food, and I'm sitting there just shoveling crab fries in my mouth, and I look down. I go, "You're doing a great job, Mark," and then I look down, go to throw another one in my mouth, and he looks up and looks at me. He goes, "Hell yeah, I am." I'm like, "Oh shit!" I was not expecting him to answer me back. I was like, I didn't think he heard me, or he said thank you, and I was like, I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my only disappointment was Sting stayed on the other side of the so one thing I noticed is that they traded off every other match for that. So for if there were people going to be on the outside, which side of the ring they were on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed. So
yeah.
Sting was on the far side, and then Smart Mark was on our side. And then the next one after that was
Gunn.
Gunn.
Lee,
He
right?
was on our side, and then
I think they're doing heel and face on both. Like the face side are on the camera side, and the heel side are on our side. So yeah.
But yeah, it was just something that I don't notice when they're on TV, but I noticed when we were there in person.
I want to go back so bad.
It'll be a while.
I wanted to jump in the truck on Wednesday and just hide away and just keep going with them. Just stow away.
And tell the truck to honk its horn?
Yeah. And then they go, we got to check the truck. Orange, check the truck. And he goes over to the truck, and he opens up the door and sees me hiding, and he just gives me the thumbs up and then walks away. He goes, "Yeah, we're all good here." And then I just live with them like a circus family. I say this like I'm 14, but I'm like a 31-year-old man going, I want to stow away and hide.
Yeah.
But anyway, great time. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
Fantastic. Our seats were amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was phenomenal. When we got there, I was like, "Oh shit, we are super close."
Mm-hmm.
Like it was daunting.
It was so funny thing was I posted a picture, on my Discord group, and for the ouchies, and a couple of my friends commented, and they're not professional wrestling fans. They don't watch. They prefer not to watch.
Wrestlers.
They're not professional wrestlers. They're not fans. They don't get references. They have no desire to watch. They don't want to hear me talk about it, aside from talking about my experience of going. They don't want me to talk about stuff that's been on TV or whatever.
Yeah. Which is why we have this, you and me.
Right. And so my one friend Brian almost immediately afterwards comments, and he goes, "Holy shit." He goes, "I don't watch wrestling, so I have no frame of reference as to how close you were going to be to the ring." And he was like, "You said you were front row." And he goes, "In my mind, there is a 10 to 15 foot gap between where the ring is and where the fans are."
When you said front row, you meant front row.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh no, we're 5 feet from the ring, and people actively jumping out of the ring almost into our laps."
I'll tell you what, if I could have those seats for the rest of my life, I would do it. If I had to give something up, I'd be like, yeah. For every time I go somewhere for a wrestling event and have those type of seats for AEW, that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, so my one friend asked me, and I want to ask you, does having those seats, did having those seats now ruin the experience for you that you will not sit anywhere else?
I think I just said it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my response, because they had asked me that, my response was like, if I have the option, I would always choose to pay the extra money to have those seats, if given the option.
If you couldn't, though.
If I couldn't, I would still be perfectly fine with going to the show and sitting
I agree.
further
With
away and being
AEW,
wherever.
with AEW, I think even if someone said, hey, we're going to give you tickets half off for those type of seats for WWE, I'd be like, yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty close regardless.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd enjoy it as much, but it'd still be cool to be that close.
Yeah, like Sabrina and I last time, we were sitting camera side, so on the other side of the room. We were just sitting camera side, and we were on like the 100 level, like the rise up where you come down the stairs. We were in those seats. Those seats were still awesome.
Still
like,
fun to see it.
Yeah, it was still excellent. You still could see everything really well. It was still,
think
it was still good. I would still gladly go back and sit there as well.
I think the concept for me was that the difference in where we were, or the difference in how the difference in the show would be the fact that when I watched back, it almost felt like a different experience. Like Wednesday we were there, and then when I went to watch it back, both shows, I was like, oh, did that happen? Because I just it felt like I wasn't even on, like it felt like I wasn't even watching the program. It was like I was just there for an event.
Yeah.
And then when I get home, I'm like, oh, they did other stuff. Like it felt, both things were amazing because it's like it almost felt like it was a detached situation from AEW. Like I didn't go to an AEW show. I was just at a wrestling show. And then when I went to go watch AEW, I'm like, oh yeah, right. And like I actually took in the information because I was just so like, I'm so close.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the difference between if you were sitting further away or higher up, you might have had the feeling of watching a TV show live. Whereas because you're in the front row, it feels more like you are a part of the show and a part of the experience. So it doesn't register to you as I am watching them film a TV show. Whereas further back, you like tend to see certain things differently. So you have the mentality of like I am watching them shoot a TV show. Versus I am part of a TV show.
Would say something to disappoint me though.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Towards the end of the night,
Mm-hmm.
we went to leave the building,
Mm-hmm.
and Orange Cassidy decided to go around the ring and give people his limp fist bump. And I have on film him completely avoiding me and going right to you and then moving down the line. And it was an awful thing to go out on.
Maybe it was the
disappointed me
camera.
very much.
He was
Yeah,
like, fuck this
probably.
ball with the camera.
Well, hey, now I have it on film. Getting rejected by Orange Cassidy.
I mean, in reality, more than likely, it's just like he's seeing like a sea of people and a sea of arms coming out, and he's just trying
It's not legitimate. Like, hey, I loved everything about what happened. I was just joking, being like, oh
no, it's
I mean, matter of being disappointed would be like,
it's okay to
how
be.
dare I?
Yeah, I mean, there's also a difference between like being genuinely upset and being like, that was a little disappointing.
know.
Like you could be a little disappointed at something that happened without holding any grudge or harboring any hard feelings and understanding the situation.
I think I was just glad to be in the general vicinity of Orange Cassidy that I didn't really care too much. I was like, oh, cool. It wasn't like that son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, it totally happened to me like a whole bunch of times. Like I tried with Daniel Bryan and Moxley. Neither one of them reached out.
Trent Beretta.
Trent got you, but passed on me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy saw that and was like, that guy's getting one, but that guy isn't.
Yeah.
Trent already hit him already.
So like it's a total So yeah,
but it's funny.
That's how it is.
It's funny though. Just fucking fantastic. I wish there were more. I guess it was just Rampage, so I was like waiting for like more craziness from Samoa Joe from the final match.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it is Rampage, but I figured it's for the title. It'd be like, I don't know. There's
Yeah.
a lot more of like
I mean,
beating
that
the
is
shit out of each other than
and that's kind of been Joe's MO.
Yeah.
Recently is more of a brawling type fight. You know, who knows if part of that is also because of his age and the amount that his body's been beaten up over the last 15 years, and
yeah. How old is he?
he's got to be in his 40s because
Somewhere it's like same as like Punk, right? Punk's like 43, I think.
yeah, he's got to be in there somewhere because he was wrestling for ROH back in like 04 or whatever, so he would have had to have been 18, which means if he had 20 years to that, he'd be 38 in 2024. I mean, he's got to be up there.
I think it's weird because it's like I feel like CM Punk is not CM Punk and Samoa Joe. The comparisons between the two, I feel like Samoa Joe has been wrestling way longer than CM Punk, but I think it's because you used to show me Samoa Joe back on like TNA than me not being able to see CM Punk until he showed up on WWE. Me personally, I didn't watch CM Punk until he showed up on WWE.
Me neither.
So it's just that concept of like I thought Samoa Joe was way older because I was like I've seen him. He's had more exposure than Punk, where I'm like, oh, he must be. But then I was like, they must be the same age.
Yeah, so according to Wikipedia, he's 43.
Reliable source. 43. Yep. I'm sure. 43. Yeah, it's got to be the same around the same area.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So.
Like I would. Oh, hello.
Hi. Oh, hello.
I would be very shocked if he was less than 40. I mean, actually, if you logistically think about it, and you think about like when he used to start wrestling, and the fact that you can't really do that till you're 18, like logistically speaking, he has to be, 40-ish.
Yeah, 40-ish. In the 40s.
And your comment about Ring of Honor and me showing you Joe and stuff, I didn't really find Ring of Honor until after finding TNA.
Well, for us, I think for me back when we were doing backyard stuff,
because Punk was like 06 when he started in WWE.
I think so, but like the concept of that we were doing that. Yeah, no, that would make sense actually. 06, because I would have been 16, and yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but oh, sorry. So but back when you showed me is because TNA had the three Styles, Daniels, and Joe, and that was like
somehow that was what I found.
You and me and Brandon were the same kind of like concept of those matches between the three of them were like amazing, and it was like this is what we need to do, like always elevate our matches over and over again with the three of us, which is why we do one with the three of us every time we do a wrestling thing.
Yeah. So Punk started with WWE in 2005. Wikipedia says he signed with WWE in 2005, which means he would have debuted either 2005, 2006. But yeah, that was and I found TNA when around the time that the Joe Styles or it was a little bit after the Joe Styles Daniels triple threat main event at Unbreakable happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very funny because I found TNA, but like I can't tell you for the life of me how the fuck I found TNA. Like, did I find it because I was watching wrestling stuff on YouTube and then somehow like found TNA? Was
TNA
it like
on Spike for a while?
They were, but when they first started, they were on like Thursdays at like 11 p.m. Like,
yeah,
like I remember finding them at 11 p.m. on like a random off chance somehow.
That's how I found WCW and got involved in wrestling in general. I mean,
yeah,
Guerrero.
Yeah, I'm honest to God, like or like I mean that was also the time period of like Best like you go to Best Buy and fucking like walk down the racks and racks of DVDs and like look at stuff and like did I go to Best Buy one time to buy some WWE DVD and they also had TNA DVDs and I bought one just to see like what it was like what made me. Or like, did I see that and then go home and look it up? Like what? Like I can't tell you what got me to start watching or even realize that TNA existed. Because I know that's how I found that MTV show that was canceled after a couple episodes, the Wrestling Society X. I found it because it had come and gone. I had heard MTV was going to do something, and then I never heard about a premiere or anything, and that was because part of it is because they did terrible promoting for it. And but I remember people talking about it. And then I was in Best Buy and there was like a DVD box of like it said the first and only season of Wrestling Society. Yeah, so I bought it and watched it. It was fucking terrible.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so can we go back?
The Sheiky baby. I don't know. I just wanted to say that.
Can we go back? I want to go back.
What do you want to go back to? What?
AEW.
Go back to the
I want to
30-minute mark?
I literally want to go back to AEW is what I'm saying. Yeah. I just had a fun time.
I will say there is this like weird thing that happens with when you're there live, right? And it's you have like this, not that Rampage is bad because it's not bad, but like you get this like banger Dynamite, and then they're like, sit tight for 15 minutes, and then like you start like almost from scratch with like, Rampage, kind of where like you'll get like you'll get like a really good opening and a good main event, and then they'll be like kind of like the middle is really kind of filler on Rampage most of the time.
Yeah.
And so like it is weird because you just had this like banger Dynamite episode.
Yeah. I think that's why it kind of does help though, because the concept of like people like posting predictions or posting what happened on Rampage is just like, yeah, but also it's like not much happened on Rampage, so you're just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yes.
Like the most you could be like, oh, Darby Allin qualified for the Owen Hart thing, and you'd be like, oh, I didn't know that. It's not out yet.
Yeah.
So.
I want to look. Who's qualified?
Okay, so I know exactly who's qualified. I watched it yesterday.
Okay.
For the women or for the men, it's Adam Cole, Riley, Samoa Joe, Darby Allin, and then someone else. Shit.
Dax.
Yes. Which
okay.
we watched.
So,
why didn't I remember that?
Okay, so we've got 5 of the 8.
And then women's is Tony, Jamie, Red Velvet. I got this. Hold on. Shit. I feel like it's someone I'm not remembering. Oh yeah, right. She did qualify. I forgot. And then Ruby didn't yet, right?
No, I thought Ruby did.
I'm gonna look.
I also thought Hikaru Shida qualified.
No, she did not.
She didn't?
I don't believe it. I'm gonna look it up. So, yeah. The
all right, we're looking it up.
You're looking it up, or I'm looking?
No, you're looking it up.
Okay.
I'm talking. Blah blah blah.
Red Velvet. Yeah, you're right. Hikaru Shida fought Julia Hart.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, you're right. So those 5.
So there's 5 also.
Yeah. I will double check, but yes, I believe so. I mean, like I said,
okay.
We can fucking.
Okay. And we know that because they announced, we know that Hayter and Tony Storm is in round 1.
Yeah, which is weird, but whatever.
It's weird.
Jamie Hayter beat Blue Sky.
Why is it weird?
Well, then it'd be like, oh, you two are having fights? Okay, we'll put you in the same match then. Or you guys are having arguments? We'll put you in the same match.
Yeah. So Ruby hasn't qualified?
No.
Interesting, because she like inserted herself into that, and she was like,
I feel like
we should. And I was like, did she qualify? And I forgot about it.
I don't think she did qualify. But anyway, I think it's only those 5 right now, right? I'm sure she's gonna qualify soon
Yeah.
or something.
And then we have
I wish there was a place where you could just look up stuff and go, hey, this is what we have so far.
yeah.
But unfortunately, we don't.
There's so they announced there's a male qualifier this upcoming week tonight. Hardy and Bobby Fish.
Oh yeah,
Jeff Hardy and Bobby Fish.
Which I'm gonna be honest, I think Bobby Fish is gonna win.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Jeff Hardy's gonna win.
I think they're gonna try to get the Elite all in there.
Eh,
They're gonna try hard to
maybe.
get Elite all in there. All Elite.
Okay, so we have this Wednesday and this Friday, and then that's it because they said the tournament starts on the 11th. At least they've been advertising that the tournament's going to start on the 11th. It kind of has to. If they're gonna do this whole tournament and just the finals are going to be at Double or Nothing, that gives you. If the tournament starts on the 11th, it gives you 3 Dynamites and 3 Rampages to get to the finals, and you're doing 2 tournaments. So I would expect that once we hit the 11th, probably on Dynamite that week, we'll get 2 tournament matches, and then probably 2 tournament matches on Rampage.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Because to get to the finals, each tournament's going to need 6 matches.
yeah.
So you'd have to do 2 per Dynamite, 2 per Rampage.
It's just going so slowly.
Actually, yeah, that's probably what they'll do. They'll probably have 1 tournament match on each of the 3 Rampages and 1 tournament match on each of the 3 Dynamites. And that gives you 6 matches.
Mhm.
That gets you to the finals. So there'll be a men's and I would imagine that they would do it as they would have a men's and women's match on each show.
Yeah.
For every show until Double or Nothing.
I just feel like it's just. I don't know how long has it been since they said they were gonna start it and do it, and now they're doing it.
See, that's the thing, right? They announced that they were doing it, and then there was like nothing for a while. And,
yeah, exactly.
Like they
Like,
waited.
Owen Hart.
They announced
Wait
it
2
in
more
like
months.
January.
Yeah.
And then they've been doing the odd thing with qualifying matches, where they're like, yeah, qualifying matches. So it's making it feel longer because there wasn't a qualifying match every week.
Yeah.
Like Joe qualified fucking like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think they're kind of doing their things and trying to set up stuff and trying to make it work, and
Yeah, I think once they get to the tournament part of it, it'll be like really smooth. I think this whole lead up was like too long because they were just not sure. Whatever.
It's just because it's like AEW has not it's not been something I've been watching a lot, but it reminds me of the TBS thing where it's just like eventually we'll get there, and like there's kind of fights here and there.
Yeah.
It's just like,
So
we'll get to the TBS thing eventually.
So here's the question: who doesn't have to qualify to get into the tournament?
We've talked about this before. You brought this up before, and I have no clue.
Because now we are legitimately at a point where like
So it's
we have 5.
8 people.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be
Yeah.
a set. If it's a tournament, it has to be a set of 8.
So
The next set would be 16, and it's clearly not 16.
yeah. So what I'm thinking is that we have 5 guys now,
We have 5. Yeah,
and then on Wednesday we'll have
6.
6. So we'll just need 2 more qualifying matches.
Right. So are they going to do 2 qualifying matches on Rampage
When is it
for
start?
the men's? It starts next week, the 11th. There's only 1 Rampage and 1 Dynamite.
Maybe. I have.
And the same thing for the women's. They still
have
need 3
no
qualifying
clue.
matches.
I have no clue. That's exactly when it starts. The
The
tournament
11th, they
itself?
said, yeah.
Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne. Yeah, I guess they're gonna have to, huh? They're gonna have 2, unless their last match is on that Wednesday, because then the tournament would technically start. Because it's like these are the standings. But you'd think like they'd go, oh well, we have. Did it say Ruby Soho's in it?
It does. I don't know if this site is reputable though. It's itnwwe.com says Ruby Soho. Okay, it says when Ruby Soho defeated Robin Renegade in a qualifying match on Rampage April 15th.
Did we just not pay attention to that?
Probably. It was
Okay,
between according
We
to
are not-
this.
hold on. We are
according to
not
this-
doing our fucking jobs, all right?
No, we're not.
If you're-
according to this, it happened on Rampage, and
April
it was
15th?
April 15th. It was after the Red Velvet qualifying,
Yeah.
but before Britt Baker qualifying.
And it was on Rampage, so
It was on Rampage.
we don't watch Rampage enough. I don't remember watching that Rampage either.
I'll straight up say I don't watch Rampage enough.
I
A
watch,
lot of
I try
times
to
I'll
watch
look.
it.
A lot of times I'll look and I'll go like, I'll watch this one thing and this other thing, and I won't watch the whole show.
I'm just gonna call this episode "We're Terrible People."
I mean,
I
sure.
love Ruby Soho.
Ruby. So.
Oh, so can I say okay? So I'm sorry, I was gonna bring it up when you mentioned it, but you said on Discord you put up the picture of the place and how you have nobody who has frame of reference.
Yeah.
Last night, and this is the reason why I didn't text you until like 2, because I was sleeping most of the day. I was up at 3 a.m. I woke up at like 9, fell back asleep, woke up at 12. Point is, last night we were playing Friday the 13th. Bones, my whole Waffle Town. If you watch my channel, the whole Waffle Town. Okay,
That's a game.
Bones randomly, and he always does this, where we'll be talking about something, or I'll be talking about wrestling. Like example, I'll say Adam Cole, and he'll go, Bebe. And I'm like, do you watch wrestling? He goes, no. Why? I'm like, because you're doing the Adam Cole Bebe thing. And he goes, no. And then, so we were playing last night, and he randomly goes, oh, fuck. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, did you listen to our podcast the other day? He goes, yeah, I did. I was like, so that's why you're doing. He's like, yeah, I had to go back and watch the clip to see what was happening. And I was like, yes. I was like, because last week, if you have not listened to it, we talked about Liv Morgan and I put the clip in there, just the audio. I said, we just kept doing that. And that was the thing, that was the joke we kept doing all night last night was, oh, fuck. Because, Jason would come and break down the door and he'd go, oh, fuck. And it was just that the whole night. And we were up till like, I want to say 3 a.m. Maybe, no, we were up till 2 a.m. Because then I went to bed around 3 a.m. because we were sitting there talking about whatever. And it's just, when the video comes out, I'll let you know. But it was just going, it was everyone but Sump going, oh, fuck. Like even Dan started getting into it. And, is that me? That's you.
Yeah.
It's on the table.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Give us an update.
So
I just was about to say what the match was for this week, but you got it up there.
I said it before. It was Hardy and Bobby Fish.
No. I know that, but I'm saying every other thing I was going to say.
I was looking specifically to see if they had announced a women's qualifier.
No.
Because they have 6 women qualified, which means they could have one on Dynamite, one on Rampage, and that would cover them. Whereas the men need to have 3 qualifying matches, which makes me think that someone's getting in this tournament who's not qualifying. Oh, damn.
Yeah. So
They won the mixed tag belts.
Wait, what?
The AAA mixed tag belts.
Who did?
Ty Conte and Sammy Guevara.
Did they really?
Yep. They have a mixed tag belts, man and woman.
When did that happen?
Yesterday, I think.
Oh, shit. That's
I woke up. I follow her on Instagram, so I saw her posting about it.
That was the one thing that the guy was saying.
And I was like, ah.
When we were leaving the parking lot on the Wednesday, when we were leaving AEW, a guy was saying how they need to have the trio belts, and I disagree with that. I feel like they should do a women's tag team. Or a mixed tag belts.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right?
Trio seems like too much work.
There is a lot of I mean, I could see them doing a trios if they get rid of
would do it well.
if they get rid of the regular tag belts, maybe.
They do a lot of trios.
Well, he's saying that because there's apparently a rumor going around that they have plans to have trios belts, and they're specifically waiting for Kenny Omega to come back so he can tag with the Young Bucks and be a trios. But if you think about it, and they wanted to do trios belts, House of Black is a trio, Death Triangle is a trio.
BCC.
ECC.
BCC.
Oh, BCC. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. BCC is a trio.
Yes.
Kenny and the Young Bucks is a trio. The Undisputed
You could do Private
era.
Party and Andrade.
Correct.
There's plenty of groups, yeah. There's plenty of people who can be a trio.
You could easily do Santino, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You could do 3 members of Jericho Appreciation Society.
Mm-hmm. Probably 2.0 and Garcia.
And Garcia, yep, perfect.
Probably the best group you could do with that.
So yeah, there's a lot of trios.
Yeah.
In AEW. That's the short of it.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to it, I loved everything about it. I watched again SmackDown on Friday, and you know why I was watching? You know why I was watching SmackDown on Friday?
Because you needed to see Roman Reigns' new T-shirt.
No, I actually watched Xavier versus whatchamacallit.
Did you see his new T-shirt?
No. Is it something stupid like I one-ish needle mover? I'm the one-ish us needle mover.
It's not one-ish. It's day one-ish.
God mode.
It's day one is H.
Every damn day.
No, it's
No, that's yours. That's what you say.
It's so I forget what the saying is, but it's spelled out with God,
Yeah.
and then underneath it is mode.
Yeah.
So it's God mode.
I thought that's been a shirt.
Really? This is the first time I've seen it. But
Yeah,
maybe
it's
I'm
like
just not paying
GOD,
attention.
And then it says mode.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like the God is like a phrase.
It's fucking stupid.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just maybe they're not.
Stupid.
So is it a 6-man tag? Are they not unifying the tag belts anymore?
The backlash match, you mean?
Yeah,
I don't.
because they were supposed to unify the tag belts. That's what they've been talking about. That's what this whole
I
thing. And then all of a
don't
sudden they were
know.
like 6-man tag, and I was like, huh?
The tag team belts have been awful since they did this fucking Spartan themed titles. I think they're fucking stupid. It's like when you do the Divas belt and you make it a butterfly. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Hey, they're butterflies, baby. Listen, they are beautiful butterflies, and I want them all to be wearing biker booty shorts with fishnets, and I want them to dress
Here we
sexier.
go. We can talk about that. Yeah. So, I feel like is that a dog? Is there a dog next door?
Yes.
I think he's staring at me from across the window. That is just one.
Hold on, I gotta
Okay, hold
move
on.
around so I can see.
Sorry, we're gonna start pivoting to a different conversation, but does that look like a dog to you?
It does kind of look like a dog
It
to
looks
me.
like there's a dog at the window. I'm sorry, we're so unprofessional. You know what I mean? Like it looks like a dog's nose. But how long would he stay there for? If he is, he's very, very
Zooming in isn't helping. I'm
He's
trying to
very
zoom in on my
focused.
phone so I can see if it's like actually a dog looking, but
I can't tell.
I'm getting nothing.
Anyway, that's weird. We're so off the rails here.
Going off the rails on a crazy train.
So you decided to sing a song and prove my point.
Yeah,
That
that was the whole point, and it was about going off the rails. You get it.
Yeah.
He's got COVID, and apparently isn't doing well. I think I read.
Yeah, Ozzy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that. Nikki
Hey,
Bella
hey,
is on
Hey, wait, hold on.
AGT.
What?
She's one of the judges on America's Got Talent.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, first off, let's talk about the women, okay? Mother's Day is next week. We're not doing a video. We're not doing an episode next week. So, I don't believe Nikki and Brie Bella. I don't consider them wrestlers.
Okay.
They're in the Hall of Fame. Don't consider them wrestlers. Okay?
What do you consider them?
Just people were in the right place at the right time. It's like The Miz. Don't consider him a good wrestler.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
fucked up.
That's my take, bitches.
That's
Deal with
fucked
it. That's not pretty awesome of me, is it?
No, it's not. You don't think Miz is good at all?
I don't. Okay.
Wait,
no.
are you talking about just his wrestling ability?
I think as a
everything?
wrestler, I don't think there's any good as a wrestler. Now, I'm sure he's a great guy. Is he an awful person? No. I just
Well,
don't.
no, I'm talking about like his character, like the whole presentation. Like, do you think the whole presentation is like?
When has he been a face? Because if he's not a
Good
face,
question.
then he's going to be the term what I call nega Cena. Nega Cena? Yeah. He's the negative version of Cena. Never became a heel like Cena. Miz has never became a face. And that's something a good wrestler is able to do both.
Interesting.
He has not had a situation where he's made the crowd love him by being a bad guy.
Interesting. So would you say Stone Cold Steve Austin Well, I guess he was he was a good
like
heel prior to. I was
okay,
thinking about the really
so, like,
bad heel turn.
You look at Stone Cold, The Rock, and Triple H. Okay.
Yep.
All three have been so bad that they're likable. I don't think Miz has that thing where he's so bad that he's likable. Me personally, you could think that. But I don't think he's been so bad that people are like Miz. I don't think that they're gonna get on board. Like, he hasn't had a gimmick where it's like funny and fun to do.
I think the one time that I was into him being so bad that he was likable was his championship run leading up to WrestleMania when he fought John Cena. Because then he had like that whole thing, like they did the whole video package, did the whole thing about how like they
He's
like
a
treated him
normal guy.
like shit, and
Yeah.
then he was like, "I'm gonna fucking prove you wrong," and
That's the one thing I could see that's
and all that.
redeeming about him was just like the underdog thing. But
yeah.
But
That was one time where for me, he was like such a bad guy and such a good bad guy that I liked him.
so we got on the rant of Nikki and Brie. Okay, I just didn't think they were good. Okay,
Mhm.
and I stopped watching at that point too. So it's like I missed Paige, I missed AJ Lee, I missed a lot of women back then that were wrestling because Trish Stratus and Lita were the people that I used to watch.
But
Um,
but Daniel Bryan, he's married to her.
okay. But my point is that, and I wanted to get back on track because you said Ozzy Osbourne, and one of his great songs is "Bark at the Moon." Bark at the Moon. Speaking of moons, Amber Moon was talking on the on that one show the other day. Yeah,
Chris Van
listen,
Fleet.
it took me a while, but I got there. Okay,
He got
and
there.
if you don't like it, deal with it.
He
That's
got there.
just how be mad, as a couple once told me. So she said, you had it better. You just said it. You were commenting on it a couple minutes ago. You said how they had a meeting where they had told the women that they had to wear,
Dress sexier.
yeah, and wear booty shorts.
And this is what happens when Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis get in charge after Triple H
And Moon
had
said,
his health scare.
which is the best comment I could have said, which is what I've been saying, is that she said, I cater to children. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Even when I saw her back on, it was the vlog where she won the women's championship. Thunder Rosa had talked to her just at a show that they were doing, like a local show they did.
Mhm.
It was her in a triple threat with her, Sky Blue, and I guess it's Athena now.
Yes.
So it was the three of them in a triple threat. And then they were talking to her about whatever, and she just immediately, I was like, this chick, she just seems like a cool chick, just from that, like the conversation they were having on the vlog. And I want her in AEW really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then even now, more now, the podcast or whatever the show that he did with her, even now I'm like, I want her in AEW, like really bad. Like her and Mia Yim are the two that I want really bad. Besides the most ridiculous one, which would of course be the man Becky Lynch, but I want those two in there. And she made a good point. It was on the verge of the things that they say where you go, that's not right. Like the Keith Lee and speak more intelligently, or the what is it, Alberto Del Rio's announcer telling him to sound more Hispanic or sound more ethnic or something like that. They told him.
Yeah.
It's along those lines of like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. You shouldn't really do that. I think you could make a good character out of being creative, and you don't need to do, some stupid either racist or some kind of, I'm going to see you as you are. Like if I looked at you and went, you're going to be a nerd. You look like a scrawny nerd.
I mean,
and I look like a fat nerd. So that's what my gimmick is going to be.
we're going to be the nerds.
Yeah, we'll walk out with the protector things and
Pocket
like
protectors.
like we're in fucking 80s, an 80s nerd movie or 80s jock movie. And that's our gimmick, because we're going to take the first opinion or first impressions and make your character out of that. You don't look like a strong man. I'm going to make you a nerd.
I mean, I am both of those things. I am not a strong man, and I am a nerd.
Just saying with the dual WWE thing.
Oh, I got you.
But yeah, it's been kind of frustrating.
Yeah, it was. It was. I guess, eye-opening to hear her speak about that.
Plus, you hear the same thing from people with it. It's just, we missed Triple H. We didn't know where Triple H was, and we wanted to know what happened to him.
Yeah, yeah, totally understandable, right? Like, totally understandable that they would miss Triple H. Totally understandable that it would not be made public knowledge right away about his health situation. Totally get that. You know what I mean? Like, you give the family some time to deal with it before you kind of make it public knowledge. Totally understandable. I think Triple H was doing a lot of really good things for NXT. I think he was doing a lot of good things for women's wrestling, for wrestling in general.
Imagine though if we would have had him just disappear, and then a couple weeks later, or a week, or a couple days later, he's passed away. It'd be fucking just. And it's not saying like all the people in the back need to know about that. No, I'm just saying like I don't think they knew exactly what was happening, and they wanted to make sure he was okay before they go. He's all right. He'll be fine. We don't know what's gonna happen with NXT, but he's just not here now.
Yeah. And then
instead of going, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired.
Yeah, and then it's very interesting that Vince was kind of already starting to take over even way prior to Triple H, health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was just interesting that they that's what they were choosing. And like these older these older gentlemen, are kind of in control or whatever. And then you hear about one of the first things is like you need to dress sexier, and you need to wear more revealing clothing, and you need to, and like that's kind of the fashion edict that's coming down.
Old fucking windbags. You said gentleman, but you should have said something ruder.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder.
Fucks.
Like I wonder if it would be different if somebody younger was in charge and calling the shots. They're in the era that they were in, that they're in, and so
I think
it's not going to change.
That's the case of like, if there's one thing that I loved that changed over the years of watching wrestling, it's women's wrestling in general. Seeing the so much change between that, and it's not like it's just like, social justice and it needs to change because equality or whatever. It's a concept of these women can do stuff. They're able to do things just as much. There should be no issue with making them trying to make them either super buff or do like this whole, I don't know, sexy thing, and it's just like there's so many people out there, and it's like you look at Kelly. That's someone who's just like, their gimmick was very sexual, but like, did she really want to be a wrestler?
Right. And I want to be clear. It's how to put this? It's okay for there to be sexual characters.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not saying there should be no sexual characters. I'm not saying that there is nobody who wants to play sexual characters and all that stuff, but like that doesn't mean you but to hold a meeting and tell all of the female talent that they need to start dressing more revealing and whatnot is kind of like, in my opinion, a big line that's being crossed.
Yeah.
It is very interesting that she, speaking out about this, like so here's my thing, right?
Go for it.
Let's say she says this. Let's say it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not saying that she's a liar, but let's say she gets some backing from other women who have been released recently, who come out and say, yes, we did have this meeting. They did tell us to dress sexier and blah, 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 right? Like, in my head, that is like a huge, like, I guess, red flag issue or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in my head, I'm like, this turns into a, like, I don't want to say fuck WWE or like a Me Too type of thing, but like it has the potential of like, if other women come out and say like, yes, they were telling us that we need to wear more revealing clothing and dress more provocatively, and like, but we're also being told it's a PG product, that some of us are supposed to be catering towards children.
That's the
and,
weird part.
and all this kind of stuff. Like, I could see this becoming a very big press issue for them. Will that happen? Probably not.
Speaking of which, you made me remind me of, and I wanted to talk about the women in general. But speaking of which, more people have been released as of Friday.
Yes.
You saw.
Yes.
The one that I just found out about because of Attack of the Show, which was Dakota Kai, Dexter Lumis.
Mhm.
So now when I go to Walmart and there are nothing but figures of Jake Atlas, Braun Strowman, Dexter Lumis. I think the only person in that group is Drew McIntyre that I'm like, this guy still works for the company.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else that I see is just gone.
Yeah. There were some comments about how it's very interesting and about how there's clearly very poor or no communication between who they want to use and release and the writing team, because a lot of these people have actively been on NXT TV every week and are actively in storylines and just got released.
I know. Dexter
And I was
Lumis.
like, well, okay, they clearly they clearly are not
Malcolm-
talking to Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah.
They clearly are not talking to one another, and there's clearly no communication going on about who they're thinking about releasing and whatnot.
Swerve Strickland.
Yeah, those guys all got called up, and then I think it was like 3 weeks later they all got fired. Like, what the fuck?
It's
Makes no business sense.
it's just fucking. I had something and I fucking lost it. God damn it. The concept of that though, like just the fact that like I had to double check and make sure it wasn't a list that I've seen already. Where I was like, oh no, this happened. I think I found it out Friday, and I'm like, oh, this happened Friday.
Yeah,
This happened today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
More releases.
so I was watching Rampage. I might have been. I don't remember, but point is I was like, wow, that's. And some of the people I know, some of the people I don't, like most lists that they put out. It's just fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
Fucking super weird. But point is that I think women wrestling shouldn't be any different from male wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be this thing. This is like when I look back and see like the bra and panties bullshit in like the games and stuff, and it's such a thing of like as a kid, you go, it just kind of fucking, it's weird. Like you don't think about the concept of like, oh, this seems okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were what, 15, 16-year-olds going like, yeah, women, boobs, I like that.
Yeah.
But like now it's just like, yeah, but like I actually want to watch wrestling. I want to watch, actually legitimate wrestling. And I know that back then we were watching like in the 90s, we're like, for some reason didn't think we could have women who could do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at China and you go, they have to be like that. And it's not even the case. I think that's the thing. That's the problem with Vince, where the physical appearance of someone based off of if he thinks that person can be something. And I think with China, that was the only reason why she was there, because she looked like someone. She looked like the guys.
Yeah.
And instead of doing like, with AEW, you see all these guys, it's like, you look at most of the people that are in there, like Wheeler Yuta and all these different people, and you go, well, they're not buff at all. And like, neither do the women. It's like, Becky Lynch isn't jacked. She's in shape, but she's not jacked. Like, it's not this thing of like, they're slowly kind of getting to the point where like, you don't really have to be this huge jacked dude. Like, making it like this thing to be like this Power Man contest or this fucking Mr. Olympia, when it's just like, it's wrestling. It's not.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of reasons behind that. Some of those are the world changing. Some of those are the world turning against steroids.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a number of
the curtain behind
reasons.
wrestling has fallen, I think, and I think you can stop doing this whole, the biggest baddest guy has to be the biggest baddest man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a thing of physical appearance. It's
Mhm.
your ability to, perform. It's your ability to do stuff. The Young Bucks are enjoyable to people because they enjoy what they do, and as far as a show, they put on a good show. It's not a thing of they can rip a man in half or they can throw a man across the ring. it's it's exactly what I said with Rey Mysterio. He will probably never get another title run because he just won't. It's not. They're just not going to give him another chance, which is a shame. But anyway,
All right.
that's it. We will not have an episode next week. It's Mother's Day, so deal with it. We'll come back and talk something that we don't talk about at all, which is Doctor Strange.
Be cool and be safe.
Yeah, be cool, be safe, and don't tell women to dress provocatively. I'm sorry, I'm just going off of the last part. Oh, and if you don't have nothing nice to say, make sure to comment on our videos and like our podcast. And if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have anything to say, don't say it. All right, bye. And choose at another company. Yeah. Which I love the fact that Britt Baker does not shy away from talking shit on WWE. She's just like, yeah, it's off company. It's shit. Don't like it. She doesn't say those exact words, but my point is that. So, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get Danhausen versus Hook. But
Probably not.
let's talk about what we do have.